Wednesday, my dudes and dudettes. What's up, y'all? Welcome to VR Radio, the show where we just chat, talk about life, and play some tunes, play some vibrations back here in the virtual reality space. Thanks for tuning in. Hey, hope you're having a good morning, a good evening, a good afternoon so far. You know, kicking it off, we got a classic from Nujabes and Pays Rock. One of my favorites, honestly. I won't deny it. The Sign. Enjoy.
Every time I walk, I watch, I look, I notice, I observe, I read the signs. And the signs are pointing in the wrong direction. The signs are not naming the streets or leading you to the highway. The signs are naming names. Tombstones to mark the dead of children not even born. And I don't mean abortion, I mean what is to come. The signs are telling me to turn back around. The signs are telling me to research my past. The signs are telling me to learn from my mistakes. The signs are asking me questions. Do you want to watch it all fall apart? Do you have any control? Is there anything that you can do? Time is not a nice person. I know because the sign said it. Time can be generous, but ultimately time is indifferent. Time does not give two damns or a fuck. So what will you do? What will we do? So I'm in the middle of the street talking to the signs, and people are looking at me, pointing and laughing like this motherfucker's crazy. But do they not see the signs? Do you not see the signs?
Hey, what's up, Ruth? What's up, Classic Geek? Spare Count, welcome to the stream.
Thing in this world that you can depend on and you can bet your last dollar on. It's the ignorance of the American people. But still I have faith. And still I read the signs. And they are indeed there. Some of us are lost and will not find our way no matter what the signs say. Some of us do not see the signs because we are too busy shopping. Some of us do not see the signs because we can't help but stop and look at the accidents and stare. We are in a daze. We are amazed by the world's displays. Some of us do not see the signs because we are giving spare change to the homeless. We are getting gas. We are volunteering for duty. And we are watching television. We are driving around in circles on spinners and we are working 8 to 6. We are on our way to the club. We are high, we are drunk, and we are sober. And we do not see the signs. We are listening to a moron babble. We are listening to tongues that lie. We give them an ear, we give them a hand, we give them both eyes. So we cannot see the signs. Slow, there are children playing in these streets and they cannot read the signs. They are only children. Stop. Stop. I fear there is no U-turn. And that this road dead ends. Because we cannot read the signs. Do you not see the signs? We must read the signs. And we must turn around. We must turn around. We gotta turn this shit around. And we gotta read the signs. We must read the signs. We must read the signs. We must read the signs. We gotta read the signs. We gotta turn
Let's read the signs, y'all. Come on now. We gotta turn it around. There are no U-turns. Turn it around, turn it around. That was the sign by Kujavis and Pays Rock. Hey, Tekka Kitar, thank you so much for the contribution to the show here. We're kicking it off today with quite an existential problem. Isn't lasagna just spaghetti flavored cake? And honestly, that's it's one of those questions that I think hides a deeper meaning, and that is truly the idea of dressing up to obtain a different status. You know, the noodles on the lasagna are dressing up to obtain the lasagna status, whereas we as people put on clothes to come across as a certain way to those around us. We're getting to the existential questions, folks. Hey, that's Zach. Welcome to the stream. Thanks for joining. Kimber A, always good to see you here in the morning. Benjamin Blackman, what's up, dog? Folks, we're keeping it chill today on this beautiful Wednesday. We got Sweet Berries by Handbook. Let me know how you're doing in chat. I hope you're well. I usually wear black because it's just easier to pick, you know. It's not making too much of a statement, I don't think. Not to say there's something wrong with that, but it's just me. Definitely, Giffy. Feel free to reach out on Discord. Ashlyn over here, waking up early to get on Photoshop for school. Hey, good job getting that bread. Getting that design bread. Sweet Berries by Handbook. Joseph Salad says, if water is wet and our bodies are mostly water, are humans wet? You know, I think we are not wet, because when we are wet after swimming in an ocean, don't take what I'm saying out of context, we can dry ourselves off, right? We have the sensation of being soaked. We're getting to the root of all of life's problems here on VR Radio. Folks, be thinking of your answers for the spaghetti question if you're wanting to join Discord. We'll take some calls here in a couple minutes. Keep it real. Folks, we got another banger from Nujabi's Far Fowls. Thanks for tuning in. Alright guys, we need to talk about the elephant in the room. The big purple elephant with rings in the room. Avengers Endgame. How many of you saw it? How many of you plan to see it? For one, I'm not a huge Avengers guy, right? Like, you know, I used to watch the Iron Man movies back in the day, but I watched the first one. It was great. You know, I didn't see it when it came out, but now I'm, you know, I feel like I kind of have to see the new one just to remain in the current psyche of the Western world. You know. Because there's so many references to it, it's almost a need to see it nowadays. Kickless 1000 has the conclusion, folks. We've heard it here first on VR Radio. The conclusion to the is lasagna just spaghetti flavored cake debate. Lasagna is thick spaghetti with cheese. The definition of cake by I'm Not Hugo being an item of soft, sweet food made from a mixture of flour, shortening, eggs, sugar, and other ingredients, baked and often decorated. So lasagna isn't cake by definition. One more problem solved here on VR Radio. Hey, that's Zach, you're live on air. What's up, man? Hey, that's Zach. Nope. That's Zach left. Folks, we got Fellows by New Job Ace coming up. Great conversation. Hey, later, Ruth. Thanks for tuning in. Folks, there's another huge issue that's currently pressing our society, our race, our species as a whole. Are birds real? And there's been many great debates on this one. Famously, Jordan Peterson, his recent book, actually goes into depth into this theory. You know, Stephen Hawking, he sort of theorized on the idea of birds being figments of the leftover dimensions, the sort of colloquial interdimensional beings that sort of cross over into the matrix. You know, there's no scientific backing that can describe it. You can help support the cause at Birds Aren't Real, birdsaren'treal.com. Truly one of the most important topics of our current time. Big bro moment for the big screen noises there. Hope you enjoyed that one. Go ahead and read a direct quote from Richard Nixon, 1978. He says, "We needed a way to keep an eye on the American citizens without them knowing. It was imperative. We hired only the best. It took years. We designed, built, tested, failed. We persisted. Over decades, we had it. We finally had it. A fleet of covert technological surveillance devices unlike anything the world had ever seen. What we called them may shock you. We called them birds. 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 Folks, that was Sensory Fed by Nim. You know, recent surveys have revealed that 99.5% of the general public still believe in birds. I know, I mean, I was shocked too. That said, it is our duty, as bird truthers, to remove the blinders from the people's eyes and welcome them into the light of the truth. Together, I truly believe we can shift society's perception of what flies above us. A direct quote from birdsaren'treal.com. Folks, thanks for tuning in to VR Radio. We're going to be taking some calls here in Discord. Polly want a cracker. Polly does want a cracker. Hey Giffords, you're live on air. What's up, man? How are you? Where are you calling from?
I think I accidentally have you on stream in multiple ways.
Oh, yeah, that'll trip you up.
Portland, Maine.
One of me is more than enough. So what's up, Giffords? How are you?
I'm doing well. How are you doing today?
I'm doing all right, man. Can't complain. Hey, let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
Do you believe in birds?
I see birds every now and then. Mm-hmm. So I must say, I believe in them due to visually being able to see their existence.
Right. So when you say you believe in them, would you say you believe in their existence, or you actually believe in them, like I believe in something inspirational, What is your belief definition?
That's a good question.
It's a tough one, man.
Yeah, no, I'm not sure what the difference between those two are, or even if they're the difference is significant.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I believe Australia exists.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if I believe in it, though. Because it's just a country.
So you don't believe in them as a country, or?
I believe in them. I believe they exist.
Okay.
But I don't believe in them. I don't believe in America. I don't believe in the world. I believe it exists.
Interesting.
We're getting to the pressing topics today, Giffords.
Yes. I believe it all exists in a form. I just can't quite pin down what that form might be.
Mm-hmm.
In relative to someone else, I guess.
Now, when you say form, because when I think of form, I think of the atoms that make up our world, the knock on wood stuff. And then there's this whole like other dimension that one can sort of tap into, I think. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I think so. Because
So
matter itself is kind of just one form kind of energy.
right.
And then you can see other forms of the same kind of energy. It's kind of hard to explain, but I guess things can exist in different frequency ranges.
Right.
So when you think of matter, it can also exist maybe the way it holds energy, and that would kind of bring it to a different form.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree. It's I feel like it almost relates to that idea of like, what's that experiment where if you observe the atom or observe some sort of microscopic thing, it alters its thing. It's a super hard concept to wrap our minds around. I think we're still, when I say we, I think scientists and whatnot, researchers are still only now discovering the surface of it.
Yeah, I think I know exactly what you mean. I might be wrong, but it could be called the Higgs boson experiment,
I think that's it. You hit the nail on the head.
where it's the act of observing something changes its state.
That is mind-blowing.
Oh,
Because that's a concept I think we have never known.
I agree. I hear it multiple times. Each time it just kind of pops. It's just like, damn, holy shit.
Other than like, you know when you're walking down the street, like the sidewalk, and then you realize someone's looking at you, and you're like, you just try to like remain in your zone without altering, and you're like, okay, when do I look at them in the eyes and like kind of nod my head, you know?
Mm-hmm.
That them observing me changes my state, you know?
Dude, eye
So that's the only
contact
example.
is so intimate, and it's like it happens sometimes you don't think much of it, but then when it happens and you're aware of another human being looking at you in the eyes, it's just sometimes too deep. I can't contain. It's hard to deal with sometimes.
Yeah, man. Even dogs, when I'm walking down the street with a dog and I like look at the dog in the eyes, I'm like, oh man, I just want to take you home, you're such a great dog.
Right? They're another form of people that's hanging out with us as a race.
Yeah, they're like a half smart, half just stupid animal. Like I'll tell you, my dog, man, she's great, but she's dumb as a rock sometimes. But
Well, they say you spell dog backwards, you get God, right?
Yeah, that's
And
true.
When we look at dogs and their companions, it seems so easily and effortlessly to take on the characteristics of their owner.
Yeah.
And I think that's just kind of like how that species has evolved with our species for so long over time.
It's
Thousands
true.
of years.
It's true. It's that thing, it's like perhaps the early humans, the ones that survived, were the ones that figured out how to domesticate wolves, befriend them.
At least how to work with them. Help each other survive.
Mutual beneficial.
Definitely.
That's interesting. Well, hey, folks, you heard it here first, folks. Spell dog backwards, you get God. That's an original thought by Giffords here. I love it.
I heard it from someone else, so I can't take the credit.
No, it's all you, man. It's all yours. Hey, Giffords, good chat with you, man. Talk to you
Yeah,
later.
you too, man.
Peace. Man's best friend. Absolutely brilliant. Folks, hope you're having a good day so far. Kimber says Jack caught a girl checking him out. Oof. I mean, I don't go outside at all, so I wouldn't know. No, I kid. Folks, coming up next, we got Shalala, Moses Gun Collective. This is, we're taking a different vibe tonight. Hope you dig it. That was Shalala by Moses Gun Collective. We're going back to the roots, folks. We're going back to the lo-fi. Brunch at the Bokeh. Folks, I got some positive, uplifting news for you this Wednesday morning, evening, afternoon. The world's first malaria vaccine is now going to 360,000 kids in Africa. Folks, despite popular opinion, I think the world is getting smarter. It's getting better. Great question there from Kimber. Would you rather find A, a permanent cure for all cancers and diseases, or B, a permanent cure for depression and no more suicide? Right off the bat, I'd say A, a cure for all cancers and diseases, because I think our mental illnesses such as depression and suicidal thoughts can be alleviated through means of mindfulness, meditation, yoga, the Eastern philosophies, the Eastern answers to those life's pressing questions that have been around for thousands of years. Not to say it's a cure-all, but I think the prospect of fixing the physical illnesses is one that is more pressing. Folks, we're here on VR Radio. We're going to take some calls here in Discord. You can click the link in the description to join. I like that question. It's a good one. Hey, Azure. You're live on air. What's up, man? Hey, Mitch, you're live on air. What's up?
Oh, thanks.
Where are you calling from, Mitch?
I'm from the Philippines.
Oh, can't hear you too well, man. Can you repeat that?
Oh, I'm from the Philippines.
Oh, the Philippines. Oh, right on, man. Cool. How's the weather in the Philippines right now?
It's pretty hot. We're currently in the dry season. And we just had a couple of earthquakes happening around the country, but all in all, we're...
Oof, earthquakes. Did you feel it?
Yeah, actually, the other day, I remember I was in your stream, actually. The 28th one? Or the 27th one?
Yeah.
Or 27th. I don't remember, but... Yeah, it was after an earthquake, and the whole town just quite literally went out of their houses just for that.
Whoa. What did it, was it like, I've never been in an earthquake, so I imagine, like, what's the immediate thought once everything starts shaking?
Well, people generally, immediately think, run or hide. But, some people tend to overly panic when it comes to those things, and that's actually the most dangerous thing in those kind of situations.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah, I imagine it's fight or flight. Hey, Mitch, can you turn off the audio from the stream? I'm hearing some feedback in your noise. But yeah, no, that's interesting. I imagine it is sort of that fight or flight mode, because I imagine it's something that's so different from everyday life, We're so fragile as humans, and when nature just kind of throws us a curveball, it's like, oh, snap. Never mind it.
Yeah, actually, I remember I was in the ground floor of our house and then I just felt the ground beneath me like sway side to side and I just see every hanging thing in the house begin to sway from left to right very fast and I just hear people from outside like screaming, earthquake, earthquake in my language and it was pretty terrifying.
That's absolutely terrifying. Kimber says, stand in a doorway if you experience an earthquake.
Though, Jack, I would like to
That's one.
one of my questions from the Minecraft thing.
Hit me. What's up?
When you both interpreted my question as can it potentially create more universes for us? I meant that in the way of you actually never mind. You touched on it a little by the people living in VR permanently, but what I meant about that is if ever that we might have to leave the planet and of course people can't really take the void of space and would rather have to go into like VR simulations. My question about that is, could we potentially create another like our world? Like it'll be us, but in some place different. I can't.
So it would be us. If I'm understanding correctly, it would be us leaving the Earth, but maybe being like contained.
Yes.
But ultimately free because we're in virtual reality.
Yes,
that's interesting. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I wonder about the sort of along those lines, like the benefits of incorporating VR into long space flights, right? So like, I imagine when space travel becomes more consumer friendly, like people can start actually like buying tickets to go to space, not having to be trained astronauts. If you incorporate virtual reality in some way, because I mean, if you're traveling for a long distance, whether it be a couple of weeks, however long it takes, people are going to get bored with the sight of space, as beautiful and as amazing and as transcendental it must be. Jumping into VR and then being free to explore within a small confined space, I think would help mentally. And then I think that same concept can kind of be applied to what you're imagining, like in the future, if we are actually having to leave Earth. Does that make sense?
Yep.
That's a really interesting thought, though.
Yeah, it's kind of one of my thoughts after watching The Matrix and such, and all of those sci-fi movies that incorporate technology, conquering humanity for whatever reason, or we have to leave, intergalactic travel and such. It just makes you think, how would we, as not as fictional characters, but as actual human beings, come to accept these when it comes to the point of no return? Like, there's always someone who will negatively impact a lot of people about these kinds of things, and I want to just think about how would we do it,
Yeah, like how would we overcome the negativity, perhaps?
Yeah.
Is that what you're asking?
And not just the negativity, just the alienating thought from the people that VR is just technology and not like. It could be, to me, VR and technology by itself can be a portal for us into, like, as I said, a new universe, a new dimension that we can try to create things that we cannot do in real life, like in a general sense of science, like sampling a lot of things that we cannot really do in real life.
Yeah, I think. Yeah, it's interesting. Like with this technology, it's almost the first one where we can emulate the current laws of reality, right? Like let's just use gravity as an example. Like that's a law we know we can experience outside of that law by going to space, but that's not necessarily acceptable or accessible, right? Now we have the ability to break that law of physics, of gravity, and experience it for $400 in a VR headset. So it's like we have these rules that we've lived with for however long humans have been alive, and now we have the opportunity to, like what you mentioned, create new dimensions, create new laws of physics that go beyond our wildest imaginations, and that's absolutely brilliant. I think that's amazing. It'll bring great creativity that I think we have never seen before.
And adding to that, it kind of hurts that some people tend to have an aversion to VR and, you know, anything related to like alternate, VR, yeah, virtual reality or augmented reality, because they say it's gonna keep us from liking or staying connected to our physical real world, but it doesn't have to be that way.
Yeah.
The way of, like, you know, you can always enjoy two things at once, but you as a human being can never leave the real world behind. But the virtual world is just an addition to yourself. It's not gonna take over or, like as some people say, gonna corrupt your mind or other things. At least to me, guys.
I think it's almost just like, as with any new technology, like they said the same thing about books. You know, I think I was reading in when books were starting to come out with scrolls and whatnot, when people could start widely reading and writing, they were like, oh, this is going to take away from current reality. People are just going to be so immersed in these books. You know, they said the same thing about TVs, computers. I think, yeah, there always seems to be a certain leftover generation that is opposed to new technology, and I think that's because it changes their perception of day-to-day life. You know, it disrupts it, for lack of a better term, and that can be scary.
Yeah, and exactly the reason. I mean, not the reason, but an example of this is like, let's say parents and children in my generation at least, and our parents.
Mm-hmm.
We can have like a certain group of friends, let's say, you know, Discord or let's say Messenger or games, and the thing that our parents, or at least the people of the previous generation, keep saying is that your friends in like those games or chat or anything social media is not your actual friends, but are just, you know, people who want social interaction, and the only real friends you have are like people around you in real life. But to me, that's just a very wrong description of what friends mean in general, because some people tend to believe that everyone in like the virtual or social world online is disposable, and everyone in real life is supposed to be permanent. But that's not always the case. Am I right? Like,
Mm-hmm.
you can have temporary people in your real life, all while not knowing when they will leave, but you just keep choosing to believe that they are going to be permanent because the previous generation said so. And that's the stigma I want to like possibly see be broken in this like lifetime, because seeing the amount of people getting discouraged by this, and countless of people getting like extremely terrified of the thought of everyone on you meet online is possibly a creeper or temporary people that would need to hit. It's not healthy.
I'm not quite following. Are you saying that the anonymity the ability to be anonymous online is an excuse to say that one is not permanent. Oh, he dropped out. Whoops. Keeping the flow going. Mitch, are you there?
Sorry, you kind of cut off.
Oh, it's all good. I think Discord dropped the call. Yeah, I didn't quite follow your last point. Are you saying that some people assume online friends are not permanent because the nature of communicating with them is online? Is that correct?
Yeah, and adding to the fact that, this generation keeps saying that no one online is permanent.
Yeah, I think it's the stigma around online friends and online relationships are gonna ultimately change as we get more connected. I always forget how new everything is. Like 15 years maybe tops is how long we've had iPhones, right? 20, 30 years maybe for internet, and we are adapting so quick. So there's still, some stigma around it. Rightfully so. I think we should be cautiously optimistic about any new change. So, but I think we're figuring it out as we go.
I guess it is kind of change is always terrifying to people.
Mm-hmm.
From what I understand. Even just the simple act of like exercising in the morning, exercising in the morning, and like not doing that terrifies certain people, or vice versa. Like change is, to me, in my opinion, change is not to be a fear. Change should not be a fear. It should be actually, I can't quite put it into words, but you should not fear change, for it helps us develop in a way that you would not think possible because of your current state. Like I wouldn't be talking here in VR because I didn't choose to think, I want to take a look at virtual reality and how people interact differently from typical chatting and such.
Right. Yeah, perhaps. Yeah, it's hard, man. Like you mentioned, the vice versa of not working out in the morning. Like if I don't work out in the morning, then I get stressed for the rest of the day because I'm like, oh man, I slacked this morning, right? And then adversely, if someone does work out, that can be a scary change to start doing that. It's like, it's I think it's almost the default to view change as something scary or threatening. Perhaps from our evolution, we're better in stable environments, some people, and yeah, I think that's a good point. It's when one views change as maybe a learning process or something new to behold. I think, it's interesting.
Yeah, I'm gonna be completely honest. That whole fear and everything I've just said, in my life at least, I want to be one of at least the few people that I'm actually an aspiring poet and or maybe a writer. I want to create something that can lessen or break these stigmas and stereotyping and one-track minds train of thoughts that people have about everything about our generation and this new thing that comes into our life. I want to be one of the people who talks about how it's not negative. Sure, some of it might be negative, but most of it is actually terrifyingly beautiful and helpful at the same time, because it made us realize that everything we knew in the past might have not been true because of this specific thing that we found out. And that's just beauty to me.
Well said. I dig it. Mitch, we got deep in this call. Thanks for chatting, dude.
Yeah.
Got the brain working.
I enjoyed that. I'll always keep supporting your channel. It's one of the few channels actually that have actual informational and entertaining content that I've found.
Well, thank you so much, Mitch. I'll always keep supporting you as well. Peace out, man. Good old Mitch. I love calls like that where it's just like, I love both calls. You know, there's some calls where, you know, we just chat about random stuff, and then other calls where we go deep. And I think it's important for, you know, anyone to kind of work out the thoughts in the head. I'm sure a lot of us in chat can relate. It's like we become so enthralled in our own ideas, our own thoughts, our own mental processes, our own thought loops. And when you can express that with someone else, it helps so much. Folks, we got one more song closing it out here on VR Radio Wednesday. Yes, by Pace Rock and New Job Ace.
Life, dance, stay free. We live, and the beat goes. Life, dance, stay free. We live, and the beat goes. Make noise for the loved ones. Bang on the drum, celebrate where you come from. Wake up in the morning, it's a blessing, and the day is a prayer. And you feel it right there, like, yeah, put you on a little something, something. Carry on till the evening is teething. Reach another day, another search for the reason. And then the night bites, and what it is, learn how to dream enough to learn to live. Positive, affirmative, gotta make it happen like there's no alternative. Now whose turn it is? Mine, and I earn to give and stay permanent. Shock waves didn't roll your way, now you wanna change the clock, but then it all stops. And we forget that, we wanna get back to where we left off. A few steps off, you wanna get on, you gotta get right. Hold on, sit tight, look at the dim light. Take a breath, ask yes for some insight. And say yes from your belly through your windpipe. And now it feels like you thought it should have been right. And it feels good, feels like you never left. Little young cat, got his shit togetherness. Feel high like Mount Everest, forever fresh. So good, I think we want another yes. But no, the fascism and classism off the beaten path like they never had rhythm. In the first place, worst case scenario. What we're seeing and hearing now in stereo. Same shit, different assholes, flash the pole. Capture cowboy, take away his lasso. We're going forth to a new day, our own way. This is our time, not what they say. They playing foul play, I'm playing James Brown. We're gonna find out the truth any day now. They on their way out, looking for a way out. I just got here, and I'm staying. I'm just saying.
Birds.
And the
Birds.
beat goes. Love, dance, sing, no war, stay free, we can live, yes, and the beat goes.
Birds.
Life, love, dance, sing, no war, stay free, we can live, yes, and the beat goes.
Birds.
$, wipe yourself. Try to keep the money all in line. Hard enough is keeping your mental health. I give some thought, hope my feeling is felt. I can find it when it's feeling is felt. It's like the wheel gotta deal with the needle when it's feeling itself. Inside when it's screaming for help. On the outside shining for the public. The DJs love it. Been moving with the pitch control, groove is the soul. It's new or it's old. If it's true then it's told. A Negro spiritual or cold techno ode to a 49 area code. If it's good then it must be sold. That's what they say, but I'm still not sold. Still loyal to the rhythm and the melody. The beat and it's telling me words that weigh heavily. Open my heart readily. Good days they better be soon because I'm almost changing my mind. Yes, and I'm almost changing my grind. Spend a lot of time seeking to find. It's more about the trick than the treat. Not about the lyric or the beat. It's more about the lines filling the seats. People jump on bandwagons and in the conclusion. I jump on ideas, still might fall to confusion. I spend a lot of time losing. Still in the game, enough practice, still sharp with the aim. Teeter-totter never came to my side. Still enjoying the ride. I put my weight down just the same. Fuck pride, folks died so I can tell you my name. Just living my life. Only yes, not a maybe in sight. Except maybe that I may be right. Yes, felt the world shake, staying up in dangerous heights. I had to come down 29 flights, and when he wasn't dead, tell me what you think he said. Life, love, dance, sing, no war, stay free, we can live, yes. And the beat goes. Life, love, dance, sing, no war, stay free, we can live, yes. And the beat goes.
Thank you, Kim. Mountain Fresh, I'm using big screen here. Mastermind, this is Yes by Pace Rock and New Choppies. Folks, thanks for tuning into VR Radio. I will see you here tomorrow. Same time, same place. Hope you have a fantastic rest of your Wednesday. Keep it real and remember always, birds.